Well, hey gang, I'm gonna call you gang now, okay? That just sounds better. Welcome back. I've talked about this in a few podcasts before, but I don't know if I've actually shown you guys, but I've rearranged my desk again. I know, I do it a lot because it's just fun to kind of refresh the light. You know, when you're in the same room all day for like a solid year, that's when you start getting tired of, you know, the same routine, the same way of looking at things. So I like rearranging, and I kind of went more minimal, I guess, with my desk setup, you can say. As you can see, it's pretty much just iMac and of course the iPad over here. We've got my Pixel stand, we've got the HomePods in the back. We do have a wireless charger here, it's just kind of extra. This is typically where I charge my phone, and then if I want to charge AirPods or another phone, sometimes I have more than one, it does happen, I'll just place it right there. So it's kind of like my backup Qi charger. Of course, my Tesla, can never forget about that, he sticks around. And these are just my everyday run-of-the-mill CFast cards that I use to record videos and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely, some people might look at it as a step backward compared to my last setup, if you guys remember. I used to have 3 monitors on my desk. If you're wondering why it looks so different, I used to have the BenQ 32-inch 4K monitor, which is right off camera here. It's kind of sitting on the floor doing nothing, which may seem a little bit wasteful, but that was the monitor in the middle. The iMac Pro was off to the left here, and then on the right, I had an Acer Predator gaming monitor that could actually go up to 165 hertz, which I love that screen because it's so buttery smooth. It was only 1440p, but honestly, it looks fine, and I can barely tell the difference between 1440p and 5K on two 27-inch monitors. At an average sitting distance, you really don't notice much, but that monitor, I decided to loan to Wyatt because I felt like I really wasn't utilizing it that well. I was pretty much only using that monitor to put Discord on, and I still use Discord a lot. It just felt like a waste for this monitor with G-Sync and thin bezels to be just used for me looking at text. So I decided, you know what? Wyatt plays a lot of video games. He's doing fine, by the way, if you're curious about Wyatt. He's just hanging out at home, obviously quarantining, and he has a machine that actually has an NVIDIA graphics card, so he can utilize G-Sync, and I just felt like I wasn't using it to its full potential. So that's why I loaned it to him. He's using it and he loves it, so I'm glad to see that monitor is actually being used for its intended purpose. And once I loaned that monitor to Wyatt, I decided, you know what? I want to just go back to having one screen, because I felt like a lot of the time when I was using all 3 screens, I was trying to think of things to put on one monitor. It was almost like more screen than I knew what to do with. So I would constantly just leave certain things open like Twitter or iMessage, and pretty much with my iMac, which has a 5K display on the left, it was literally just showing Twitter and iMessage all day. That was like all it did. And having all of that screen and all of that data and all of those pixels just go towards the occasional text message, and that was about it. It just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem like I was utilizing my hardware well. I know what you're thinking, right? Well, now, Drew, you're thinking of utilizing your hardware much better because you just have a monitor sitting on the floor. Now, that's some genius motions, but no, it felt wasteful to my brain because I was easily distracted by Windows or other programs or checking my Twitter every 5 seconds. So I decided, you know, with the other fact that my iPad Pro is also always sitting at my desk. So it was really like having 4 monitors at the same time. And, you know, Sidecar is a thing. You can have your iPad just act as an external monitor for your Mac. I was like, you know what? This seems a little bit redundant. So why not just have one monitor so I can focus on video editing, be more time efficient, stay on top of my projects, and not be distracted by all the screens being on at the same time. And now I just, when I want to check Discord, I have it put on my iPad through Sidecar, which means that it acts as an external monitor from my Mac, and I don't even have to use a cable. So as you can see, there's no wire being plugged in to the iPad, and all of the video coming off of it is coming directly from the iMac just over Wi-Fi, so that's a great perk of the Apple ecosystem. And as you can see, once I actually start using the machine, my mouse can come over here and I can start typing really easily, and then when I'm editing, I typically just have Final Cut open right here, and that workflow has worked really, really well for me. I've had this as my desk setup for the past few weeks, and when I want to start working on a video thumbnail, it's very easy to exit Sidecar because I can just swipe up with 3 fingers and boom, it turns back into fully fledged iPadOS, and then I can open Over or Affinity Photo, do whatever video editing I need to do. But when I'm ready for it to just become an external monitor again, I can just tap the Sidecar icon and it turns back into an external monitor, so I can move windows around very easily when I need to. So that's what I like about being able to utilize my iPad better instead of having it just sit at my desk and occasionally being used for video thumbnails. And I guess, you know, from an Apple sheet perspective, I kind of like the look of just having Apple hardware on my desk, excluding you, of course, we're not talking about this. So for the sake of consistency and having a more clean, minimalistic setup, it just kind of cleans the mind a little bit. And that has resulted in me feeling a lot better about work. It makes me feel a lot more efficient. It feels like my brain is not as scattered. Of course, it's still very scattered, but this helps a little bit. So I'm glad to say that. And it also just felt like overkill to have so many screens at my desk. And I still don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with that monitor. I'm probably gonna find someone who needs it or just save it for later to see if there's another desk setup, or my wife is working from home probably indefinitely now. So she might end up using it because it's much bigger than the monitor she's using. So we'll find a use for it. I don't have one right now, but frankly, after doing it like this for a few weeks, it just feels so much better. I like having a desk that is more clean and allows me to focus more on video editing instead of just blowing all these windows at me at the same time by having 3 different monitors and my iPad open all simultaneously. This just feels better, and especially when I take my iPad with me on a trip or something like that and this closes up, then the desk looks even more clean, which I like. So, you know, nothing fancy, but hey, that was expensive. I worked a lot for that thing, and while it is 3 years old, I think it looks marvelous. I think it's a very marvelous setup, and I also cannot wait for Apple to eventually launch, you know, the redesigned Apple Silicon-based iMac, and once we have that, it'll basically be like big iPad Pro on a stick connecting to little iPad Pro on the side, and man, I think that would just tie this whole setup together. Or if Apple starts making their own custom wireless chargers, I will replace that wireless charger with an Apple one if possible, but yeah, I think I'm happy with the way the desk is set up. I apologize for the soundproofing tiles being asymmetrical. I'm not going to fix it ever, so quit asking. But thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.